Hi there, John here again. Okay, so today I've got another little story for you. But just before we do it, it's a pretty brief story. Actually, the story is about this idiom, under the weather, and it just kind of talks about where it came from. But before we do that, I'm just going to go through some vocabulary for you to help you understand the story. Okay, so this is a ship. That's a ship right there. And what happens is people that get onto the ship, they're passengers. Passengers go onto the ship. Passengers are people that can be either on a ship, it could be on a bus or in a car. Anyone basically who's not the driver is a passenger. And when this ship is on the sea, what happens, because there's big, like, the ocean moves like this, and the ship moves, and so this kind of thing happens, it sways, right? And so when you're on the ship, you kind of sway like this. I'm kind of feeling a little dizzy even just doing that, but so that's to sway. That's kind of the motion or the movement of swaying. Shelter is basically anything that covers you or protects you. Usually when there's like very strong weather, like lots of rain, thunder and everything, big storms and things, the shelter will help to protect you. Deck, this is just kind of the part of the ship. That's like this, that's this part here. This is where people stand on the deck. Rocking motion is kind of like sway. Sway was like this. Rocking is like this. So maybe if you were kind of swaying and rocking, it's kind of like this. And so rough means like really strong, or it could be even violent. So a game could be rough. But also the sea could be really rough if it's like all the waves are like crashing into the boat. So the sea could be very rough. Nauseous is like when you, if you drink a lot of alcohol, if you drink too much, you feel nauseous and you want to vomit. So that's the feeling. You can also get nauseous from, for example, being on a ship. When you get seasick, seasick is like this feeling of being nauseous. That only happens when you're on a boat or on a ship. Aboard is just to be like on the ship, to be aboard, to get onto the ship. Okay, well I think that's kind of it. That's sort of, I think, enough vocabulary that will help you to understand this little story. Yeah. Okay, it's I have to wear these for reading, so I'm going to put them on. Okay, so this is the story about Under the Weather. Passengers aboard ships became seasick most frequently during times of rough seas and bad weather. Seasickness is caused by the constant rocking motion of the ship. Sick passengers go below deck. So when they're sick from the movement of the ship, they go below the deck. That's the deck, they go below there. They hang out. They're over there. And so they go below the deck, and it provides shelter, protection from the weather, from the strong like rain and everything. But just as importantly, the sway is not as great below the deck, low on the ship. So here, right, you don't feel the movement of the ship so much. But like if you look at, if I'm on the deck, right, that's on the deck, look how it kind of moves all around. That's a lot of swaying, a lot of motion. But underneath here, probably doesn't move. You don't really feel it that much. So on a ship, the greatest swaying action is on the deck, and the most stable point is below, near the bottom here. Therefore, seasick passengers, they tend to feel better below the deck. So this is so if someone is feeling ill, they from being seasick, they go below the deck. So the idiom feeling under the weather, or under the weather, it comes from there. They feel sort of sick. So you can tell someone, I'm feeling under the weather, which just means you're sick. Today, it doesn't mean you're seasick because you're just walking sort of here. What it just means is like you have a cough or a cold, you feel bad, you just feel sick. So that's the way we use it. Oh, I'm feeling under the weather just means I'm sick. And that's where that story comes from. If you like this video and you're interested in more great videos, I want you to go to www.ingvid.com, and you can also take a quiz. I've got a quiz for you about this as well. And if you want to see some more fantastic videos, they're all right there on that site.